Wow. So I feel like over the last few days we've been a little bit negative on the Nintendo Switch 2, although rightfully so, because the whole physical game issue right now has been making a lot of people upset, me included. You know, the game key cards seem to be the future, unfortunately. However, there's been a decent amount of good news today. So we're going to be talking about all the amazing stuff that had happened for the Nintendo Switch 2 today. But y'all already know what I'm about to ask. If y'all have not already, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we have been uploading every single day and we are trying to get to 18,000 subscribers before we head to New York City at the end of the month to go film vlogs for the Nintendo Switch 2 line, where we're going to be lined up in front of the Nintendo store. It is going to be an absolute blast. If we could hit 18K before that, that'd be great. If not, it is what it is. Let's jump right into the news. Let's start with the exciting one. Limited Run Games has confirmed that they will be doing Nintendo Switch 2 releases, which this wasn't surprising, I feel like. But what is surprising is they have now confirmed that it will all be on cartridge. Now, obviously, we just talked about in yesterday's video that cartridge sizes that are being given to developers is just the game key card or a 64GB cartridge. So Limited Run is saying that their limited releases, like the numbered titles, if you look at your Switch games, anything that has like a hashtag number beside it, that's part of the Limited Run numbered series. They have said that all of those titles will be on the cartridge. They did state, though, anything that is not related to the numbered series could become a game key card. What I thought was very interesting about the article that came out about this is that Limited Run stated when it comes to those titles that they're distributing, that comes down to the third party. It's not up to them or not if they're going to put all of it onto the cartridge, which again is very interesting because I always took it when Limited Run did those third party releases where they were the distribution for that. I always thought Limited Run was the one doing those, paying for those, making it physical, because what's the point of what they're doing if they don't make those type of decisions? However, looks like that's going to be a third party decision, so we could be seeing some game keycard stuff from Limited Run, just not the numbered series. What I think is very interesting from this is that they have confirmed that they are doing games on cartridge, which makes me wonder how much they're going to charge for that cartridge. I feel like Limited Run is going to see a pretty big price increase on their games because their games on Switch 1 have ranged from $30 to $35. We talked about how the Switch 2 cartridges, when it comes to 64GB, is more than likely going to cost developers $16, and I bet Limited Run is not going to be able to order like a bulk order to make a big discount. So Limited Run is going to be paying a lot of money for these cartridges. And it makes me wonder if they're going to be doing select releases compared to how they're doing so many releases right now on the Switch 1. And how much are they going to charge for these releases? Because, for example, a Shantae game, you don't need a 64GB cartridge for that. That could probably fit on an 8GB cartridge. How is that working with the prices? Because they would charge, I think, what, like $30 for the physical copy of that? I think a lot of Limited Run stuff is probably going to move up to that $50 to $60 range. I wouldn't be surprised. That's honestly what I'm predicting, and I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with that, but who knows? Like I said before, I am hopeful that somehow, some way, maybe in the next year or so, Nintendo gives developers more options for when it comes to cartridge sizes, because that was given an option a few years later with the Switch 1. Hopeful that's the same thing that happens here, but at this point, it's really unsure. But it's good to see that Limited Run will not be taking part into that. It's just when it comes to their other releases, like the Rugrats, the Metal Slug game that they're working on, the Turtles games that they've been releasing. That's the type of stuff that's considered a third-party release that's not a part of their mainline games. That's the type of stuff that you'll have to worry about that could be a game keycard. However, a majority of Limited Run's titles is a part of the numbered series set, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting, and I wonder if it's possible that they go more the game keycard route on certain things. At the very least, we know that the numbered games are going to be actual game cartridges, where it's all on the cartridge. So there's that good news. Okay, let's talk about an exciting update regarding Hogwarts Legacy for Nintendo Switch 2. With the articles that have coming out, the videos that was coming out from the team behind Hogwarts Legacy, their wording kind of made it sound like a Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade would not happen, to where, you know, you would have to pay $10 to get the version. They kind of implied that you were going to have to buy the game all over again. However, it has been shown through the eShop that there's actually just a $10 upgrade fee that you will have to pay to play Hogwarts Legacy on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the interesting thing is this is only digital right now. We don't know if people that own the physical game will be able to take part into this upgrade where you don't have to buy the full-on Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know. I hope that's not what's going to happen here. We'll just have to see. This is obviously a situation that continues to evolve, because at one point, we didn't think upgrades were going to happen. Now that we're seeing Hogwarts Legacy do this, I'm hopeful that this means we're going to see more developers follow this pattern. For example, Sega already said they weren't going to do upgrades to where you just pay $10 instead of having to buy the whole game again. I'm wondering now that other developers are doing this, that everyone's going to jump on doing it since someone's doing it. Because I know 2K was doing that. Now you could put Warner Brothers onto that list. Hopefully more developers follow this pattern. I do know that you guys in the comments talked about how you're still going to buy Switch 1 games from Sega, since the Switch 2 Sega games are going to be game key cards. So I hope for y'all's sake that are doing that, Sega gives the people the option to upgrade. I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to do that, because they're still making money at the end of the day. I feel like they're losing money by not doing something like that, because a majority of the people was pretty upset of having to buy Hogwarts Legacy again. Either way, I'm very excited to have this happen, because a lot of people were very mad when it seemed like you were not going to be able to upgrade your Switch 1 edition of Hogwarts Legacy over to the Switch 2. Because, like I said, the videos that were coming out, the wording, they kind of implied that you were going to have to buy the game all over again because of all the work that they did on the Switch 2 version. In fact, they said it wasn't even a port, it was a brand new game. Okay, so this one's a little bit weird. In the middle of night, Best Buy decided to tweet that they were going to have a midnight release of the Nintendo Switch 2, which we already knew. But what gets weirder is they said that they were going to have open inventory for those that did not have a pre-order for the Switch 2. They said it was going to be limited, but there is still going to be stock at midnight for people that did not get to pre-order at the store, which was going to be a in-store exclusive, this whole little inventory they got going. And then they also announced that you're going to get a free collectible when you do buy the system over at Best Buy. However, the weird part is Best Buy has now deleted this post. They deleted it off their website. This is completely gone. It's kind of a mystery. They didn't say what the free collectible is, but if I was to guess what Best Buy was going to do, it's probably going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 coin. I know when I did the Smash Bros. Midnight release of over there at Best Buy, they gave me a Smash Bros. Coin. And I expect that we're going to see the same thing happen, to where it's some sort of Nintendo Switch 2 coin. Who knows? At the end of the day, I feel like this proves what everyone was talking about earlier, that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be available day one for a lot of retailers that, you know, if someone wasn't able to get a pre-order, for example. We talked about how GameStop seemed like they were going to have a decent amount of inventory. Target's supposed to have a decent amount of inventory. And Best Buy is having some sort of inventory. So if you weren't able to secure a pre-order, I definitely highly recommend you go to your local Best Buy for the midnight release, because it seems like all these Best Buys could be having extra inventory. The thing about Best Buy is, though, we don't know how much. With GameStop and Target, there was a lot of reports. But with Best Buy, we literally have no idea what that number could be. The fact that they're saying limited, is it going to be limited? I don't know. I don't know. This is a little bit different. This is something that phones have an option for, and Nintendo is going down this path, and that is when it comes to charging your Nintendo Switch 2. They're going to give you a lot of battery options of where you would like it to stop charging at. We've seen where batteries get overcharged and then the battery gets ruined because it still got charged. So they're going to give people the option to stop the charging at like 80%, for example, or 90%. Honestly, I think this is a good thing to have. I have seen so many people's batteries mess up with these type of devices because they overcharged it or kept it charging, because when you have it on that dock, it's always charging. So obviously I have no battery issues with my Switch, but I think it's possible in the next 10 to 15 years, we'll find out that the battery issues of Switch 1 will be some sort of issue because of how that system plays into factor. With the Switch 2 having the option to stop all that, I think is a good thing, and especially limiting of how far you want it to charge. Also, another thing that I wasn't expecting, Nintendo showed that you can now put a PIN number onto your Nintendo Switch 2. So when you're powering on the device, it's going to show a number that you can enter. I'm not sure if this will be a very beneficial feature for myself, but I could see some use for other people out there if they had kids or something, or if a kid's not supposed to play a certain past, midnight or something like that. The PIN number's there, or I think parental controls work better than that, but I'm sure this is something that will get used. Or, in general, you might want this on there because you're afraid that your Switch 2 might get stolen and all the information that's in there, so you can have this PIN number. It was something I never really thought of, but now that it's there, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. Not something I'm probably going to use, though, if I'm honest, because it's just kind of weird for me to want to use that for a console compared to a phone. But at the same time, you're putting your card information on there, so I guess it kind of does make sense to have that on there. So I probably want to reconsider what I'm saying. Yeah, I probably will use this. I don't know. Is that weird? Do you guys see what I'm saying? Am I the only one that was like, oh, that's kind of weird? But now I'm like, God, that kind of makes sense. It's still kind of weird, though, because it's a gaming system, but I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this the completely wrong way. Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Wow, we're getting a lot of stuff coming out of that whole ARC Master System hack that happened. Obviously, we reported how they had a leaked Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive game. It has a code name, all that. It seems like now there's 2 games that are coming to the Switch 2 exclusively from that company. With one of those games, now with some artwork being posted online, it's since then been removed because ARC is putting that whole copyright system, so it's getting removed off Twitter easily. But a lot of the artwork kind of implies and looks like it's a sequel to another code, so people are wondering if that's happening. We also know through these hacks that are going around that one of these games is supposed to be revealed in June, which is further pushing the whole idea of a Nintendo Direct happening in June. We weren't really sure as we just had one, but it seems like with what's happening here, unless it's going to be a Twitter announcement, ARC's big Switch exclusive game, at least one of them, is going to get announced at some point in June. Originally, I always was saying it was going to be Guilty Gear Survive getting a Switch 2 edition, because we just had that come out for Switch 1, so it made sense to port that over since it came out so late. But I'm starting to think that maybe there's some sort of Nintendo game happening, and maybe it's another code. I don't really know. Nonetheless, we're going to find out soon, because June is next month. So one of the 2 games is happening in the next few weeks, and we're going to find out what the answer is. If it's another code, which honestly makes sense why they brought that game back. What was it, last year that they did that? Because they're going to do more stuff with it for the Switch 2. So interesting plays from Nintendo right now. And more interesting things are coming out about this hack. I think it's possible we're going to see more interesting tidbits come from it, because obviously we got the whole thing about the 64GB cartridges from this hack. Another thing that's coming from this hack is that apparently the Nintendo Switch 2 was originally planned to come out in March 2025, which I'm just saying, y'all, I called it. I said that this system was supposed to come out this year, or it is coming out this year, but I always said it was going to be March. I felt so confident in that, and then it never happened. It got delayed, which also plays into why we never got the system reveal last year, because there were so many people saying we were getting the reveal in September, October, and that never happened. So the system had an official delay. Looks like they want to get more games out for the system, and that's why it got delayed, because they wanted a stronger first-party and third-party library. So I thought that was very interesting. Lastly, I don't know if this is a big deal. I mean, I don't know. This one's a rumor, and honestly, I don't like talking about this. That's why I'm not making a big deal about this, because I don't know who this leaker is, what their credibility is. That's why I'm saying just keep this with the rumor, because I don't know enough about this. But everyone's saying that this guy has a good record, but I don't know. This guy is saying that GTA 4 is going to be ported to consoles. They specifically stated that the Nintendo Switch was going to have GTA 4. Obviously, GTA is a very popular series, and it doesn't have at least the most games on Nintendo platforms, because, you know, you're missing GTA 4, which is rumored to come, GTA 5, and then there's people thinking GTA 6 is coming, so a lot of things going on over there. But they've also said that the Max Payne games are going to get remade as well from Rockstar Games. They did not know what consoles that was going to come to, though, so they couldn't talk about the Switch, but they feel very confident in saying that GTA 4 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch later this year. Rockstar Games has a lot of rumored games going on right now. I know Red Dead Redemption 2 has also been rumored for the system, and seemingly kind of true because of retail leaks that happened a few months ago. It seems like Red Dead 2 is coming out at some point this year, but Rockstar could be going crazy for the Switch too. I don't know, it's going to be something very interesting to see over the next few months. Guys, that is everything I have for y'all today. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button. We are so close to 18K. I think we're like less than 400. I think we can do it. We got 2 weeks though. Can we do this, guys? We got this, right? Like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Discord server, Instagram, all that good stuff in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. I am so sore from boxing. Oh my gosh. My arms, my shoulders, everything. I've never felt so sore from boxing. This is crazy.